C-Doc again.
Yes, y'all. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for It's C-Doc again. I'm your host, C-Doc, and we're about to do this like we always do. Hope everyone is doing well out there this evening. Thank you for joining us. Knackwurst in the house, of course. I expect nothing less. Hope you're doing well, homie. But I don't do this alone. No, friends. I have my co-hosts. First up, a gal that got her start in classic rap radio, our lady from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer O. Jenny.
Better known as just that girl over there.
Who said that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How are you, Jennifer?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm here.
Hey, Mara.
Yeah. Mara told me earlier that she had a long day. She said, I'm really tired. I'm like, go to bed. She said, no, I gotta stay up and watch this show. I was like, oh yeah, what show? And she goes, oh, the one with Jennifer O. Jenny and Ultramag on. I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
The one with Fuck Around and Find Out Jennifer.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Ultramag, ladies and gentlemen, Ultramag. Yeah.
Jennifer's cursing already. How do I follow that?
You just gotta show up.
How do I follow that?
Yeah.
You don't.
You just gotta show up, man.
You can't. You don't. You can't. You can't. Yeah. What's good, y'all?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Hey, my Devils won. Going to the next round.
There you go.
I got the rock. I'm ready to roll.
What is that?
What?
It's a rock.
Why do you have a rock?
I can't show it to you, but I'll send you a picture. It's a even bigger rock, and you can put bottles of liquor in it, and this goes on the spigot thing. And
nice.
But this is
right. You're right, Mara. I don't.
I thought the rock was for when the other team wins and the Devils lose. You can throw it through somebody's window. Yeah.
Oh, window. I might kill somebody with this rock.
That's true. It looks heavy.
I can stone him to death.
It looks heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy.
Yeah. I guess Flatline will be on his way. Real quick before we get into it, I just wanted to mention, because it's one of those rare times where we do the show and it lines up with an anniversary release date of something on the label. And on this day in 2019, we released the debut album from James Baum, S1W, From the Mind of.
All right.
There it is, yeah. I was fortunate enough to produce this, and James Baum doing spoken word. Yeah, dope shit.
Brother James.
Yeah, Brother James. JB. And yeah, I guess I guess they mentioned it, so I can mention it. The S1Ws are working on a documentary, so that should be interesting.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dope.
Yeah. So looking forward to see what that's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And James also told me that he is working on a follow-up. So we'll see how that goes.
Dre Mays
in the house.
What up? What up? What up?
Yeah. My phone is blowing up. I don't know who is the. Oh. Yeah.
You're an important man.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Our final co-host this evening. He's laughing.
I bet he is. I bet he is.
Our final co-host this evening is the president of Rap Station, the man behind the hip-hop gods. Ladies and gentlemen, always with a smile and a drink in his hand, Flat.
Ain't that the truth? Oh my goodness.
What's up, sir?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ultramag 7.
Hello,
Wow.
Flatline.
I started thinking about it as a like a Seinfeld Newman thing, kind of.
Right. Hello, Newman.
I had a feeling that's where that was going.
Yeah.
Huh?
But it is great to see you. And I'm just...
Keeping my eye on you.
I know.
Wow.
Flatline, how are
personal.
things?
Oh my goodness. Things are good. I'm here, and that's all we can ask for.
Mrs. Snyder wants to know what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Jameson.
There you go.
Pretty much always Jameson.
the drink of choice.
Yes.
Excellent. You have a show that airs tonight?
Oh goodness. Yes, I just finished uploading it and scheduling it and promoting it and posting it, and yeah. It's available now, everybody.
What? Yeah. So
What
so why are you gonna
cartel
watch
is it?
us? Go listen to no.
Right. No, listen to the show after this.
Yes. What's new on Hip Hop Gods?
Well, this week, new Ill Bill, new DJ Bones remix of EPMD's "It's Going Down," which is really dope. Really dope. And he's doing a remix series. This is the first installment, and it's called Kings and Queens. And he's going to be releasing remixes, I think, on a weekly basis.
Huh.
So, yeah, new spins on classic tracks. We got that new DJ M-Rock featuring Sticky Fingers and Gambit.
Snuck it in there.
Mhm.
Nice.
Sure did.
Nice.
That new Master Ace and Marco Polo featuring Coast Contra single. Very dope.
Nice.
New track by The Chill, new MC8 featuring Domino, new Atmosphere, new Tone Spliff and Relio Sparkswell featuring Copyright. It's a good show.
Copyright.
Yep.
It usually is. I don't think you've ever had a bad show, Flatline.
I've had plenty of bad shows.
Trying to help you out, man.
I mean, some I
What
would
the
say
hell?
that some are better than others, but this in all seriousness, and I even said it during the show at the end of the show. I was like, man, like this really turned out well.
Nice.
I was happy with it, and anyone who listens, I think you'll be happy too.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right.
Bushmills, Knackwurst. I'll drink it if it's there. Sure.
Wow.
We're off to a bang.
We are.
We are. I'm only one drink in.
Fantastic. Well, then let's go, shall we?
Do it.
Why waste time? Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce tonight's guest, who is an OG hip hop. Just this guy's done it all, and he definitely makes dope music. Deserves your attention. If you haven't heard his stuff, you got to check it out. We're gonna get the full story, and most famously, he brought hip hop one of the greatest breakbeats of all time. We'll ask him about that. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Dooley-O.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Doing
Good,
well,
good.
sir.
Wonderful.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great to see that there is a platform like this going on. Something like this is kind of a rarity to me, like as far as people locally that I know personally are not doing these things in this particular state. There are some, but they're not hip hop, connoisseurs like you guys are.
Gotcha.
So I'm honored to be on this show. Thank you.
Hey, we're honored to have you, man. Like, I have been, one of the great things about the internet is that I have been able to discover so much music that I previously had no idea existed, because I grew up around Pittsburgh, and so all the hip hop that I got came through the majors, came through Yo MTV Raps, whatever I could find at the store. I was not at the epicenter of it. So when finally the internet came along and I was able to get all this information and find out about all this music, I was able to find out about artists such as yourself.
Right.
So it's been a very cool thing. So you're from Connecticut.
Yep, from Connecticut, New Haven.
And so even though it's not far from New York City, what was the scene like? You know, the hip hop scene in New Haven and Connecticut like?
Well, if we, well, from the start, because I've seen it from the very beginning. Like I always tell the story that I have family on 113th and 5th Avenue, in the projects over there, and that's right before well, what's the big park? Like Central Park. I'm sorry. It's like a couple of blocks away from Central Park. So, you know, one day I come out at probably age 9 or 10. I come outside with my cousin and I see this guy rapping in the park. DJ's there. And it was just like totally something I've never seen or heard before in my life. So I tried to get back. So when I came back to Connecticut, I tried to mimic what he was saying and how he said it. And I check 2, 1, 2, yes, y'all beat, y'all check. That was it. That's all I knew at the time. So, but to say my older brothers and them, they were more or less knowing exactly how it exactly went down. So they would go back to New York and then come back with tapes. Like the one tape I do remember is Charlie Rock, this dude named Charlie Rock, and it was a blue cassette. And my brothers and them, they used to walk around playing the boombox and playing Charlie Rock. And at this time, you got to understand that we are only an hour and a half away from New York. So we didn't get the full experience. We might have got it a half hour later.
Right.
In terms. So we didn't really miss much because if you think about it, those guys had to travel to get themselves known. So the more Cold Crush, you know, Fantastic Five, I mean, all those guys, any guy you could think of, they will flourish down here to New Haven, Connecticut to rap at roller skating rings. Remember seeing Africa Bambaataa at this place called Roller Dome. You know, Dana Dane came down to this little hall way back in the day. There was a lot of people who lived in Connecticut but had family in New York, so everybody was kind of hip on what was going on. And of course, like when the Sugar Hill Gang record came out, that just kind of exploded a little bit of everything. Because when I got into rapping was after I was doing graffiti first. So, but I don't know, something triggered me to rap. I can't even really recall that, but I think it was just with my older brothers. They was just like, they were on it. Like they were doing it. Like they you know, they had I was a little kid and they was DJing and they were playing Frisco Disco, the Colored album. And I wanted to scratch on it because that's what they was doing. So when I went over to scratch on it, I got in trouble. So I got 2 Frisco Discos hanging on my wall just to remind me of what hip hop is. Like, where did it come from? Like, how was I raised in this? And why do I love it so much? And why do I continue to do so much? It's a lot because I you know, where I'm from Connecticut real quick, and it's like you want me, let's say me, not everybody. I want the purest of the purest. I don't need a commercial dance hit to make me happy. I can go with an ugly RZA beat or a Mobb Deep beat or something just wild, or Public Enemy, the Rhythm the Rebel beats, you know, Public Enemy #1 beat, stuff like that. to make me really pull that hip hop energy out. From the low end theories to the native tongues. I mean, just ultramagnetic. I mean, just the rawest of the rawest hip hop record that will never sell 100,000 copies unless the machine was behind it. But to say, that's how I feel like with hip hop. I had to do graffiti. I had to break dance. I had to rap. I tried beatboxing, but lips got too chapped. I can't break dance no more because the steak and cheese subs caught up to me.
They catch up to everybody.
So but we got it. We got it. But like I said, for me, I would see that we got it maybe a half hour late.
Yeah, because that's right. Because I had heard stories, and I think I got like recordings of tapes made at early like Juice Crew guys going up to Connecticut and performing and stuff like that. So it's not that far out of that.
Right. Like even before that, like I said, you had the Furious 5 come down. You had the Treacherous 3 come down. You had Crash Crew, Cold Crash. I mean, this if you look, there's flyers and the posters here and there that if you can dig up some Connecticut hip hop, that I mean, it like I said, we was there. I mean, we weren't fluent with every time you turn the corner, somebody's breakdancing. It wasn't like that, but a couple of blocks there was some people breakdancing.
Yeah,
just say it like that.
Who were some of the artists that started to come up in that scene from locally?
So I'm always gonna give a special shout out to a couple of people. One of them is the Skinny Boys. The Skinny Boys, if those that do and don't know, the Skinny Boys are from Bridgeport, Connecticut. And when I tell you these were little kids doing shows, rapping, freestyling, rhyming back and forth, like it was nothing. And they had a beatbox, one of the most incredible beatboxer at the time. Can compete with Dougie. He could have competed with Bub from Fat Boys and whoever else, and his name was Jockbox.
Yep.
So Shock and Sean, Superman J, Chopbox, I'm glad I said that right. The Skinny Boys were the first ones to inspire me because I seen them and I was like, yo, these dudes is little kids like me. Shoot, they can do it. I know I can do it. So, and then you have my boy, rest in peace, DJ Joey D. And DJ Joey D is on the third Unheard album from Stone Throws record, Standing in the Middle of the Street. Okay, Joey D was the cut master back in the day. He was the first dude I ever see pull out a Lindrum with some green shades and started playing beats in the park.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like 82, like, you know what I mean? 82, 83, something like that. I'm not too sure, but I know it was real early 80s. So I was still like under 13 at the time. I want to give another shout out to Terrible T from Stanford. This is another incredible DJ. My boy DJ White Flash, who was also in Bridgeport, LOD Crew, New Haven, Connecticut. Let's talk then. Right there from New Haven, my town, you had TC Islam. Okay. Rest in peace, TC Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. From the Zulu Nation. Before he was Zulu Nation, he was TC Islam. You had Toot Ski and Czar, who came out with this record called Never Give a Skeezer a Chance. And still to this day, Red Alert plays that record in his mixes. You got the guy who pressed up the record first before anybody. I'm talking about Tony Pearson, Mr. Magic. Not the radio Mr. Magic from BLS. He was Mr. Magic from New Haven, the rapper. And his story says that when he went to BLS, and Mr. Magic was like, yo, I can't play your record because I'm Mr. Magic. So Tony Pearson, if you check out Tony Pearson, Mr. Magic, he came out with I think the record was Mr. Magic. I know I have it here somewhere. But he came out, first thing he said, some people say Connecticut can't rock, but I came to make you all hip and hop. You know what I'm saying? And then he shouted out every hood town in Connecticut, right? In this record. This record is big here. Then he pressed another record with this little kid called Pookie Blow, and that song was Get Up, Get Up, Get Up, Get Up to Go to School. I remember waking up to that song in the morning on the radio. Then he put the Def Squad, the LOD, I think it was the LOD or a couple other people on, like he pressed like maybe 6 or 7 records. And so I'm gonna jump back to Tuski and Czar. Their crew, which was from West Haven, they put out a couple of compilations, rarities. And AC Smooth, the guy named my boy AC Smooth was a producer. He worked with the Bush Babies at one point. And then you had Money Moses. It was Money Moses, Tuski, Czar, and they was already on University of New Haven College Radio. So in the gist, if I missed anybody, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people. At this point, I'm gonna say also the promoters like Cody D and Reggie Reg. Those are the two main, and I can't forget my boy Superior Zan. These dudes all made moves to make this hip hop thing in Connecticut really work. Yeah. A lot.
Can we talk? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a lot of that, or there's a bunch of that stuff was on that, like you mentioned, the Third Unheard compilation album, which is fantastic.
And the poster, the poster tells it all. If you see these guys, like I was just talking to White Flash about all of that, and I like to give props where they are really due when people don't understand like the history of Connecticut hip hop, because it wasn't a bunch of people, but it was a good handful of people who still holding it down and who did a lot of things. And also I'm gonna say rest in peace Steezo, because Steezo was the first one to be on MTV. And he definitely was a unique individual. So we can talk about that or whatever.
I wanted to talk about the Skinny Boys real quick because I'm from Jersey, but I grew up listening to Philly hip hop. So when you talk about being an hour and a half away, it's like the same thing I grew up with, being like an hour and a half away from New York. But I remember when the Jockbox song came out, that song was everywhere. And we knew that they were from Connecticut, and we were like, okay, they rock and they got something up there. But that song was huge, and once MTV started, doing their thing, the Skinny Boys were very good. They were out there. We all love the Skinny Boys.
Yeah, the Skinny Boys, they had a promising career, but they got any other story, they got screwed over by management. I don't know too much details about it, but that's just long-term rumor is that the management really screwed them over, and just like De La, they fighting for it back right now. They still fighting for it.
Well, I hope they're getting money from Workaholics, for that song.
The movie,
their song Jockbox is on their show, so I hope they're getting money from that.
Yeah, man, I hope so as well.
Yeah, really do.
I was just thinking I was listening to Skinny They Can't Get Enough, 3 days ago, and wondering why that was their last album. I was like, wait a minute, because that was like 88.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Like if you think about it, a lot of people ruin people's careers, like A&Rs. A&Rs ruin their careers. Like people just couldn't fight for themselves. They didn't know how to, like I say for example, like when I used to go to the studio in Wallingford, try nozzle, and every time I walked in there, they had a piece of paper right before you walk in the studio, and it says you can press your own record for $700, $800, and you get like 300 copies from like disc makers or something like that, right? But I always looked at it and said, well, I have $700-800 right now to pay for the studio time. I can get that. That's nothing. I knew guys who had money who gave me money to go into the studio, you know, and like as I think now, it's like, you know, we didn't a lot of us didn't really have the thought pattern of pressing your own records. We always thought that you gotta go through the Jewish community to get a record press. You gotta have a connection to get a record press. You know what I mean? So that was always in the back of the mind and stuff like that. But the future, the vision was right there. And you know, I always said to myself, if I would have made that move and then hooked up with the guys who was in the streets and said, listen, we could turn this whole thing that you're doing around to something positive.
Yeah.
And because we had the talent. We had the talent. The talent was here in New Haven. Mm-hmm. And but you know, I always thought I could just go to New York, go to Profile Records, Select Records, Wild Pitch, you know, and shop, which I was doing. And you know, it just never really panned out in that early time. But until later, which was kind of crazy.
That's like the exact opposite from LA. In LA, everybody was pressing their own stuff.
Pressing their own records.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love LA because I lived out there. I moved out to LA just to get a record deal.
Oh.
Yeah, I loved it. And what was that? I'm sorry.
From who?
To get a record deal from anybody who had a record company. Because you see, I went to I saw when I bought the Organized Confusion record, they were on a label called Hollywood Basic out of California.
Yep.
So I was just like, oh, there's other record companies besides New York.
Oh my God.
Yo, you're fast with it, bro.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We're pretty sure that he's sitting like in the middle of a pile of
It's
tape.
not fair.
It's all around. Yeah.
I gotta run in the other room.
Yeah, I know. I tried to find my Skinny Boys record, but I'm like, I gotta get back on the show. So
right. You'll find it after the show.
Yeah, I'll find it after the show.
Yes,
I know it's up there. Because I didn't put it away where it's supposed to go.
Right.
So what were you saying?
Yeah, you said, you were trying to get a record deal, like Delicious
Organized
Vinyl
Confusion,
or something.
what?
Hollywood Basic.
Yeah. Organized Confusion was on a label called Hollywood Basic. So when I bought the album or the cassette, I looked on the back and was just like, wow, they got a record deal from somebody in California. Oh, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to California to try to get me a record deal.
And you walked into, did you ever walk into KDAY radio station?
Nope.
No, I never walked into KDAY.
See? Well.
Yeah, I mean, nobody told me to walk into KD. Nobody told me to walk
got your record deal.
I would have got a record deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was being pimped by some old lady out there anyway, so.
Oh. Wow. All right.
You know, a little 22-year-old, or that might have been 23. I don't know. Before this 40-year-old lady got me.
Happened to the best of us.
Sugar mama got me. You can stay with me.
I guess there are worse things. I don't know.
Well, right after the riot.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
See?
I went the day after the riot.
Wow.
Every day was birthday. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bad time to come. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. How did you end up hooking up with Steezo and Chris Lowe?
Well, first, Steezo's mother and my mother were like best friends at one point, and so this is how we end up being cousins. Okay, so Steezo, first time I met Steezo, he comes over to my house. You know, all of us outside playing, and he's like, "Yo, watch this." He climbs on top of the garage and does a backflip off the garage for no reason. I was like, "Oh, this dude's special." And so, and then the next time he came over, we saw like this dog bite this lady's leg off. A German Shepherd actually bit a lady's leg off,
Wow.
which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Right? You know one of them stories, the mean dog down the street. That was the real deal
Wow.
for us. But Steezo, I mean, we hang out. You know, he was a fun guy to hang out with. You know, we got into trouble. We just did a lot of things like that, and then also Chris Lowe was like, me and him played Pee Wee football together. You know, I was a running back, the fullback. He was a quarterback. So, and he did graffiti at one point, and I was doing graffiti. So that's how me and him linked up. And first it was me and him I found out he had turntables. So I went over his house, started rapping, and he used to make the beats on the pause tape. He was pretty good at that. So we made a song called Posse Killer, and then we made another song, and then we made Crazy Noise, which is the title of Steezo's album. And then when Steezo came back from tour with EPMD, he had got kicked off the tour. He was like, I let him hear the song. He was like, "Yo, I gotta get on that. I got the connection. So we put him on, and then we brought it up to Virgil Sims. Prior to my visit to Virgil beforehand, Virgil some reason didn't like my voice or didn't like me and told Steezo to go back and do the song over. And so that's how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you and Chris Lowe made the song, the Crazy Noise?
Yeah. Chris Lowe did the beat, did the scratches the same way. Our version was a little more rugged than the way Steezo and Paul C put it back together.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But me and Chris Lowe did crazy
Those
whole
drums.
verse, that whole first verse and a half is mine.
Oh, those drums on that song, that is, oh my god.
Yeah, that's Slide in the Stone Rock Dirge.
Yeah.
Wow.
All
All right.
All right. So
Yes.
so you and Chris are digging now, right? At this point?
At this point, we're kind of digging, but not like a mad person.
Okay.
Because we're still trying to find our way through, ultimate breaks and beats, of course. Until one day, the guy that worked at a distributor down here he was like, because we bought some break beats, and he was like, "Yo, I got the break beat list of all the original names, the original groups." So we were like, "What? A list?" And then we looked at Johnny Hammond, Funk Incorporated, and we just started kind of figuring out, like, wait, hold on a second. Well, maybe these groups got more songs. So now it pushed us to move forward and asking people around to their houses and stuff like that, go over their houses. "Oh, what you doing with those records, grandma, grandpa, uncle, friend?" Or go with some, girl house, you know what I'm saying? "Yo, your parents want them records?" And that's how we started finding like a lot of gems in the early time.
So was it Miss Brown? I think I had read that you got this one, the skull snaps.
Yeah. So that story is I've seen Miss Brown one day, and I asked her about did she have any records, because we were trying to do some music thing, and she said, "Yeah, come over." So Chris happened to be with me, and me and Chris went over there. She had like this suitcase full of 45s, which had the Ike and Tina Turner sample. It also had the Monk Higgins Big Waterbed and Make It Funky on the other side. And then it had what was interesting, I never seen that before, was the Blowfly Sesame Rap, and the other side was Catch a Groove on Jesus, my memory, I'm sorry.
That's
on
right.
Something label.
Okay.
And so we actually, so as we're going through it, you know, of course we see this Skull Snaps record look like a rock and roll record or something. We don't know what it is. And then we find, you know, just keep finding gems after gems. And then we get home, we listen to it, and you know, I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was like, you know, something, a phenomenon or nothing like that. I thought it was just cool. And I told Chris, you know, since he was making the beats and he knew, because we didn't have no samplers, nothing, he knew how to make the beats. So I said, put the drums with that Ike and Tina Turner and see what that sound like. And, you know, I left it there at his crib. He came back. He had produced the whole, like that whole little song, you know what I'm saying? With the hold on, let me plug this phone in. What's going on here? Hold on. Let me see. Low power mode. All right, yeah. So with that said, like, you know, I tell everybody, like, hold on a second. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna do this real quick.
It's all good.
Okay. So like I said, you know, I tell people that, you know, as far as, you know, arranging and putting that together, I mean, Chris Lowe definitely was on the next level when it came to organizing beats from a pause tape to bringing it to the studio to make it really dope. You know what I mean? I was the guy on the side that just say yes to no to records. Like, yo, I like that beat. Put that beat together with that, like this and that. Because I ain't had no double cassette player then. He had one.
Right.
So, but until I end up buying the SP1200 and the EPS, and then that's when I got put my hands into the play and how I wanted it to sound.
Yeah.
So that's how I end up doing it. So
you guys were doing what would end up being the Watch My Moves album at that point.
Right. So all that Steezo album, I would say 80% of Steezo album came from the cassette. I mean, came from Miss Brown's suitcase.
Wow.
And the other 100%, now I won't say 100, but 95.5% was the Watch My Moves album. Just kind of playing, you know, putting it together.
Wow.
That's a funky suitcase.
Yeah, man.
You know, let me tell you. And then the funny thing about it, I'm really curious, but, you know, rest in peace, Miss Brown, because she passed away recently. I'm really curious because I believe some of those records was her son Daryl, and Daryl can't hear. Daryl's deaf.
Wow.
Yeah. So I believe Skull Snaps might have been his. I'm not sure. I don't know who purchased it.
Yeah.
Can't ask now.
Right. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's kind of crazy because I remember him looking at us crazy with the Jerry curls and the earrings and everything. He was looking at us like, "Yo, you taking my records?" He had the big eyes. He had the big eyes when we was grabbing them records. I seen it. I was like, "Yo, maybe we taking Daryl's records." I don't know.
Wow.
Do you have any? Because I'm always fascinated by anybody that was in proximity or got to work with Paul C. Do you have any Paul C. stories?
Well, I believe. Okay, so one time we go up to 1212 for the first time. We see Paul C. I really don't know what's going on. I never even known that there's a person that does like organize and makes hip hop beats the way he does. He knew the mechanics of the machines and everything. So when he put together like, okay, so I was just like, okay, so here's To the Max. Here's the 45 to the max. And he's loose. I said, at this point, when he goes, break it on down. Do. And he listens to it and he's like, oh yeah, but we need to put some kicks and snares under that and this and that. I'm like, what do you mean? It's dope as it is. And then he made it. Then he showed me like, yo, this is what you do, blah blah blah. And he spiced it up really good. And that's when the first time we all went down. And then I let him watch my moves, and he was like mad excited about it. And he said, yo, I'm gonna let some people hear this, man. I'm trying to get you that record deal. And then I came back up there, just on a solo. I think I might even went solo. I know I was up there with him. And so, and we were up there, and he let us, I think it was me and Chris Lowe, and he let us hear the Bismarckies, Just a Friend, before it came out.
Wow.
That shit sounded crazy.
Wow.
So, and then after that, he let us hear Kevy Kev and Ogb album. Welcome to Dope Land, that never came out.
Wait, you heard the album?
I heard it there. It was incredible.
Are you?
Oh my god!
Holy
But damn, I must be talking to some real players. If you know something about the Kevy Kev and Ogb on DNA, man, that
Listen to the man and all that. Yo, come on. Oh my god.
Yeah. So they had an album that was supposed to come out called Welcome to Dope Land.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, that's the songs that I heard. I still shake my head like, I don't know where them songs at now, and if they still got it. And if y'all need to find them and figure out where's that album at.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in one of my songs, I quote it differently. I say welcome to Ill World, but I wanted to say welcome to Dope World so bad. I said, nah, I gotta let that live. Right. I gotta switch it up a little bit. But
yeah.
So that would be my story. But like I said, right after that, like his passing had a tragedy.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But to everybody, he was definitely he was a genius, you know what I'm saying, for that time. And and like when I first time I ran into Paul C, I introduced myself to him. Not Paul C, Extra P, Large Professor. Yeah. Right. When I first introduced myself to Large Pro, like I've never seen this dude in the past 20 years of my life. Never. Nowhere. Right? Everywhere I used to go, nowhere. So then I see him in Connecticut at this hip hop convention that we had up here. And I introduced myself, and he was like, yo, me and Paul C used to rock your tapes all the time. Wow. And everybody's like, wow. And even I was like, really? Coming from you? Come on. Wow. Nah. And like, me and him are mad cool, you know what I'm saying? So peace to him. But yeah, man, I mean, that's probably the one good time that I hung out with Paul C for a second. And at 1212 Studios.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. So you shopped you did the record, you did Watch My Moves, and you shopped it, and no takers, huh?
All right. Well, there was a few takers, but no end results. First call I got was from Select Records. So I'm explaining this before we step in. The reason why I'm not on this Diesel album, because I was too busy. That day, I saw them going to the train station and say, yo, dude, we about to go shoot the photos for the album. Come with me. Come with us. And I was just like, nah, I'm going to New York. I gotta go shop my demos. They was like, yo, you got to get on this, man. And I was just like, I was just so hungry that I wasn't realizing that could have been the thing. You know what I mean? That could have solidified the thing.
Yeah.
But I was so busy. But when I got back home, Select Records called me. I went to Select Records. I went to Profile. I went to Jive. I went to Wild Pitch. I went to Tommy Boy. I went to even before that story, before Steezer was on, I went up to Fresh Records in Prism. So can I back up just a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Steezer was on tour with EPMD, Steezer told me about a guy named Virgil Sims that worked at Fresh Records. Because beforehand, we had a local, this place called Montego Bay, and they used to do rap contests. Steezer won the first one. Steezer came in second. I came in third, and this guy named Boo came in first because he did a rap about the mall or whatever. And then Steezer got on tour with EPMD because EPMD, I'm still going back. Hold on. EPMD was at this place called Brick and Wood, and their dancers was dancing in front of Steezer, and Steezer just took them out because Steezer could dance. Steezer was a master at breakdancing. So when it came to dancing, Steezer iced him, and PMD saw that. So PMD put Steezer on, came to pick Steezer up from my house because Steezer used to live with me for a second. And him and Paris used to come and pick Steezer up because PMD used to go to school at Southern Connecticut, which is right around the corner from my house now. So while Steezer was on tour, he told me, yo, you got a demo, bring it to Virgil Sims. So I brought it to Virgil Sims. Virgil Sims said, leave it at the desk. And I was like, nah, I'm straight. I'm going next door to Prism. So I went downstairs, and when I went downstairs, he called me out the window. He's like, yo. I was looking around, somebody calling me. He said, bring that tape back up. I said, all right. So I go back up there, and then Eric Sherman is there. And this is when me and Chris already did Wasn't Watch My Moves. It was Crazy Noise and this song called KGB. And so when we dropped it, so Eric Sherman was like, he remembered me from Steve. Yo, ain't you Steve? I was like, yeah. And he was like, yo, what you doing up here? I was like, yo, I'm trying to shop a demo. He said, let me see what you got. So he puts the demo tape in there, and the first thing here is, right? Dude, Eric Sherman was fell out his chair, like, yo, Virgil, yo, this shit is crazy, yo, right? The beat, everything. Virgil Sims is looking at me. Ain't saying nothing. So I'm like, all right. So then I end up leaving the tape, but going back to going back downtown to Grand Central Station, I believe, with Eric Sherman in his Jeep, in his Suzuki. He dropped me off. And because he was picking up the Strictly Business posters, that's right. He had a pile of posters, street posters like this, Strictly Business posters. I had like 2 or 3 of them, and so I was like, "Yo, the job done. I know I got to get." Now we don't like the record. Virgil Sims says, "Oh, word. All right, okay." So that's where Steezer comes off tour. He listens to the tape. Like I said before, he listens to his tape. He wants to get on. He gets on it. We go up to Virgil Sims again with Steezer on it. No go. I don't like the other guy. This guy, Dooley. I don't like him. Get him off. You do the song over. Blah, blah, blah. Bring it back up to him. And now he's got a record deal. Okay. So now let's fast forward a little bit. Like I said, when I was supposed to be on the record cover with those guys, I went to Select, I went to Jive, I went to Wild Pitch, etc. Select Records, Greg Rouse called me, and he said, yo, we like your record. We got a meeting on Thursday, and I'm going to pitch this record to them. Select Records said no. Then I got a call from Dan Charnez, who recently released a book maybe in the last 2 years. Dan Charnez used to work at Profile Records.
Mm-hmm.
He loved the record. he tried like his best to get me a record deal, but like I said, not happening. So, you guys want to ask a question, or should I just keep going?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So after that, so I'm in limbo because now my feelings is hurt, but it also at the same time is making me much of a stronger artist. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get turned down from your creativity, you go back into the lab and make something really strong. This time I'm working on the album, not knowing that I'm working on the album, just working on songs, but I'm working on the album. So I go back up to this is the point where the Steezo fame is kicking in. Boom, boom, Steezo's everywhere. The whole town loves Steezo, right? And Steezo's doing this thing. And the worst thing that could have happened with Steezo is that he said he was born in Brooklyn. He was born in Brooklyn in the song, you know, I'm native. And that was number one. And then when the radio interview with Jazzy Joyce and Marley Marl, they asked him, "Say, ain't you from Connecticut?" He said, "Nah, I just got peoples out there. You know what I'm saying? I'll be hanging out in Brooklyn." And then the whole town turned red. The whole town turned red because he was actually. We've been waiting for a Messiah.
Yeah.
In hip hop.
Yep.
He was the Messiah, but it just turned really bad, man, for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? The town started, dudes was trying to jump him all the time. They was jealous of him. He resulted, we started calling him Bishop from like Juice.
Wow.
Yeah, because Steezo used to wild out, like, you know what I mean? Because plus he wasn't a punk, you know what I'm saying? He was from the project. Steezo wasn't a punk, so I've seen him give it to a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like people would try him, be like, think he was a punk because he danced, he had girls, jewelry, whatever. Nah, Steezo whipped that ass, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But so the Steezo thing got big. Me and him started arguing over. We wasn't really arguing over Skull Snaps because I thought it was when he let me hear it. He's like, "Yo, I had to use the beat. And when he let me hear it, I was just like, saying to myself, "Yeah, man, that's a fucking hit. That's a hit." I said, it sounds totally different from mine. Right. Even though, nobody owns sample. Back then, you owned the sample. I don't care what anybody said. You was the first to do it. You owned it.
Yeah.
So, but, I was like, damn, man, use that beat. But when I heard it, man, I couldn't really hate on it too much. I was still burned up on the inside. But I was just like, yo, this shit is a hit, man. This shit gonna bang. Yeah. Then I said, long as you look out, we good. That's all I kept saying. As long as you look out, we good. That's the record right there.
Yeah.
And but I wouldn't say that he gave it a shot a few times to look out for me. Maybe it wasn't in the cards at that point for me to be out there at that time because it was, I don't know, maybe it was, I could have been arrogant, or maybe it was my attitude. Maybe I didn't have the look. Maybe I sounded funny. I don't know what it was. But I did. So after the Steezo fame and everything else started dying down, he started coming back to the crew because at one point he just like totally disappeared on everybody. Just started hanging out with other people, doing the other things, But the business side he wasn't managing the business, and then now he's back to square one with us, but he's still Steezo. So he still had opportunities, and we did like a couple of things like Three's Company. We tried to meet him and GBO, try to do a Three's Company group, and we tried plenty of times. When EPMD dissed him, I helped him put out the EPMD diss record called Piece of the Pie. I produced it, chopped up the Norlis, beat it a little bit. But like I said, after Sleeping Bag, because see, the story is Russell Simmons asked Sleeping Bags for all their artists. So when they asked Steezo said, "I heard Russell be jerking people," and I said, "Shit." I said, "If he jerking people, he jerking them good." So you might as well just go ahead and just bust one off and keep going.
Pause.
You know?
Hey, that's what I said. I said, "Yo, you might as well. Let's see how far you can get jerked." Literally.
Oh man.
Yep.
So so that was one of the things, and that's why Def Jam grabbed up Nice and Smooth, EPMD.
Yeah.
They might even grab up Todd Terry and Shannon and everybody else. But and Steezel was the only one that was left. And Steezel didn't have a manager. He didn't have a record deal. Really no connections that, he thought he could just walk into some place and have a thing. But then at this point, like, I stopped producing for him. Chris Lowe stopped producing for him. And he's just started trying to doing his own thing. And so this is the decline of the production wasn't there for Steezel at that time anymore. So, after Steezo, then I end up hooking up with this guy named Steve Manning through a friend of mine's father named Bill Bowens hooked me up with Steve Manning, and Steve Manning used to do fan club for Michael Jackson, but Steve Manning had connections, so he hooked me up with David Hyatt, who owned Tab Dash Records, who signed R. Kelly and the what's the R. Kelly's group? Not the last installment.
Public announcement.
Public announcement. Yeah. Right. So it was R. Kelly, Public Announcement, me, K Def and Larry O.
Oh.
Yeah. K Def and Larry O was on the Rap Box. I was supposed to be on the Rap Box too. But Larry O record is on Rap Box. I remember seeing the full record that said Larry O on Rap Box. So Mr. Hyde was a well-known businessman, if you know what I mean, at the time. And when I tell you that we used to go up to his office, like when I got the record deal and I got my boy Sean Rhythm, he was IST to the E at the time. And I got him the record deal because I was producing him. And so we both got a record deal. And when we went up there and we signed our record deal, the dude pulled out I'm talking about an 87, pulled out $5,000 and give us each $5,000. He had a briefcase that just never stopped giving out money. It was crazy. So once we get the $5,000, guess who's calling? The manager, Steve Manning. He said, "I'm your manager now. Give me $1,000 a piece." So he put $2,000 in his pocket. In 87. So now in 87, I gotta walk on 125th from 125th, because that's where the office was upstairs from the Apollo. So I had to walk from 125th back to the most craziest looking train stations in New York at that time. I'm gonna tell you another story. Listen, you guys got some time?
Oh yeah.
125th Grand Central. I mean, not Grand Central. 125th station in Harlem used to look crazy. I thought Grand Central was crazy, but Harlem one was a little crazier. And I just don't know how people was doing it, but I used to actually go up to the record company, get like $5,000 or $6,000, and walk from the Apollo to the train station, which is probably like 6 or 7 blocks, scared to death that somebody knows I got $5,000 in my pocket.
Yeah.
During the crack era.
Crazy.
If Wesley Snipes, Chris Rock would have knew I had that money on me,
Right.
forget about it.
Yep.
That sounds like your song. When my man from the Rips is "Send the Word."
Send the word.
Right.
I got one of those one night. So one night I was like trying to figure out what's going on with my record. I got a record deal. All right, so let's skip that part. I got a record deal, right? So then we go out to Florida to record the album because Mr. Hyatt and his people was all from Florida, so they had condos, and so we stayed in the condo. So I went out to Florida, somewhere in Miami, and recorded the album. You know, I came back home. I would still be living in Florida to this day, but I ended up coming back home because I got tired of like not having food. After some point, the record company just stopped feeding us. So, and then we were in like Pepsi Cola. Actually, we were in Pepsi Cola, which is the middle of nowhere, in Florida. So the funny thing about that story in Florida is that the whole time there, I'm making music. So we come out with this song called Peace Sign with the heartbeat beat. And then the same day we come out the studio, world premiere new De La Soul beat. Meanie. I said, yo, man, I can't get a break, man.
Wow.
I said, yo, are they really doing the same beat the same way we did it? Wow. I said, okay.
Damn.
Wow.
So we took that was a stab in the chest.
Yeah.
I was just like, ours is cool on some positive shit, but this is a party joint right here.
Yeah.
But and then from there we and so I get back home. I'm still trying to find out what's going on the record thing. So I said, let me go to New York. But see, knowing me, sometimes when I get really eager and really hungry for something, I'll do a stupid move. Like I went to New York with just enough to get to New York. So I jumped on the train because I lived across the street from the train station in New Haven. I jumped on the train, went to the office, and one of the guys said, yo, there's nobody here. So I was like, yo, I just got all my money up to get up here to, you know, I need some money, this and that. He's like, yo, I can't help you. So I said, okay. So it started raining and everything, right? So I'm walking back to the train station and I'm walked down the wrong block. You know, back then, you know, they got posses and whatever you want to call it. So I see a bunch of dudes on one side of the street, on my side. So, you know, I know when to maneuver out a different way. So I jumped on the other side of the street and slowly was creeping by them. They was like, yo, come here for a second. Come here. So I just started hauling ass. And a few of them started trying to chase me or something. But I just got ghost. I was gone.
Wow.
And I was just like, so I got to the train station and I was just like, excuse me, you got $1, $2, $3 so I can get back home. I live in Connecticut. You know, I'm not, you know, trying to rob you nothing, but I just need some help. And one dude just looked at me and he just said, here's $10, man. Get back on the train, go home. And I told him, thank you. I wish I knew that guy's name so I could give him his $10 back.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's just like that's a hip hop story for you. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing dumb stuff like that, like run to New York just because somebody says, "Yo, come here, I got you. We gonna make it happen." And you get there, and it's just like not what you want.
Yeah.
You know.
But even though the deal didn't happen, you were still making music.
Right, because like I said, it all made me more and more hungry for it.
Yeah.
The worse it got, the more better I got. You know what I mean? Like, I always say, like, I don't toot my own horn that hard, but I say that if my Watch My Moves album was completed and done, the future of my life would have been totally different.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
I was gonna tell Hypestyle, yes, Hypestyle, go to his Bandcamp page and check it out because there's all tons of great stuff there.
Spotify, you know, the stream services, which I would never see a dime from, but
yeah. But that's why I'm sending them to that's why I sent them to Bandcamp.
Yeah, send them to Bandcamp.
Let's talk about the mechanism. Yeah,
let's talk about the mechanism. Where is that thing at?
You got a copy?
I got a copy. I got a bunch of copies.
Excellent. We gotta get you on. We gotta get Dooley on the chart there, Jennifer. You know,
I'm actually looking for. Once you said that, it just curiosity. Where is the actual master reel at? Because it was a reel to reel that was sitting in the corner to the right of me for years.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. Every day I used to walk by and go, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with it? It's on the floor.
Because you got, when did you guys record that? 94?
Yeah, 94.
Okay.
It was me, Doc Terra, Sean Rhythm, Extra, GBO, me, Doc Terra, Sean Rhythm, Extra. Yeah, us 5. We started the mechanism because we got all hyped up on the Wu-Tang thing. And plus, everybody was coming down to my house anyway to record and make music. So once we figured out, like, yo, why are we always doing separate shit? Why don't we just come as one unit and then branch off and do our own project, just like how Wu's doing it.
Right.
So we went in the studio, and I think it was only maybe one day that we recorded all those songs.
Wow. Yeah,
it was really a fast process because we knew we had 6 hours of studio time, and we only ended up doing like 5 or 4 songs. And then the other songs came later.
Okay.
So during that whole spiel, we had a guy named Maury Winkler who was a friend of my girlfriend's at the time, her cousin's husband, who was the attorney for Karis One. So he said that he can get us, he heard the mechanism tape. He said he can get us to hook a deal with this guy in New Jersey, but we got to come to New Jersey to perform first. So we go to New Jersey, all 5 of us. So on the way up, Sean and GBO, they used to like, they smoked dust at that time. And so Extra was Muslim, and he was sitting between both of those dudes, and they just started lighting up a dust blunt.
Oh.
So GBO takes it. Rest in peace, GBO. GBO takes his shirt off, and Bob's like, "Yo, man, you getting really extra comfortable." Every time I think about that. Oh man, hold on a second. Woo!
Yeah, look.
GBO was a big chubby dude. That him and well, Sean was always Diesel, but GBO was chubby. It was just like, it's like the dude in man, remember Chris Tucker when he went to jail in that movie Money Talks? And the big dude grabs him. He said, "Did you grab him like this, or did he grab you like this?" I'm sorry, that's how it was. You see the dot. So check it out. So now these dudes, I'm in the front going, "Oh man, yo, they're gonna ruin everything for us. They're gonna ruin it." So we get there, and we all got our parts to do. Everything's organized. So when Sean, through the whole thing, he starts forgetting his words. Like he got stuck. He didn't even rhyme some of the times. And me and Doc and Bob looking at him and GBO, and they was like got the big eyes like this in front of all these people in Jersey, right? And so at some point, the guy was like, "Yo, y'all gotta get off the stage." And then GBO says, "It ain't over. It ain't over," and took his clothes off.
You're getting real comfortable.
He get real comfortable now.
Oh man.
So GBO takes his clothes off, looks at the security in his face, It says, "It is over, huh?" You get real comfortable now.
Wow.
Oh my god! I would tell that
that
story
is
better if I had a
funny.
drink. Oh my god!
Holy shit, that
And
is funny.
so that was the end of the mechanism.
Jesus.
I said, "Hell no." So okay, so
Sorry, man. Holy shit, that's funny.
it is over, isn't it?
Oh,
Get
oh
real
my
comfortable.
god. That is funny.
Oh, man. Sorry for the folks that just tuning in. You just missed it.
Yeah.
So I was online recently in the last maybe 2 years, and I was talking to DJ Jazzy What. He's from Cross Seas. I can't remember exactly where he's from.
Yeah.
Australia.
Shout out to Jazzy What?
Okay, Jazzy What is the guy that told me, "Yo, Dooley, you got some old school stuff that's just sitting around, give it to Chop Herring."
Yeah.
Contact Bob from Chop Herring. So I contacted Bob. He was interested. He loved it. And that's how the mechanism ended up coming out to be since 1994 to 2005. No, where were we at? 2023. God damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, man. Woo.
That's dope.
Can you, Doc? You probably have it on hand,
Yeah.
maybe if you're looking for another point there. The double O with you and double K. Can you speak on that? Because I did not. Somehow just missed my radar until today. I only heard it for the first time today.
I was going to bring this up
it's
because I'm a huge People Under the Stairs fan.
Yeah.
Right. Me too.
And yeah, how did this rest in peace, Double K?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did this project come about, man?
Well, like I said, it's one of those things that's been sitting in the corner. Me and Double K got cool because I kept everywhere I would do shows, they would be there.
Mm.
So, speaking of which, the first show I did with them, I'm gonna show you. Hold on. First show I did with them was with Peter Agostin, who put together this show.
Yeah.
Wow.
People on the stairs, Dooley-O. Don't ask why the paper's out like this. It's got to get framed.
Yeah.
Framing costs a lot of money these days. I've got Wild Style posters cost me $300 to get framed. It's crazy. I don't know why.
Wow.
But yeah. Yeah. So this is the first time I actually meet Double K, and that's one. I was already Peter Agostin, who did Female Fun Records.
Yeah.
He's got a little history, so he was kind of pulling me under the wing at one point, and get me more exposure because he liked what I did. And that's at Rumors Lounge in Arcata, California. That's where I met People Under Stairs. And ever since then, I've been seeing them here and there. So at one point, Double K was just like, I was like, "Yo, I like them beats. You know what I mean? Can you make me a beat?" And so he made me a beat for this song called Uncle Nut that I did on the OG Status album. And I really liked it. He loved it. He was like, "Yo, you got that funk," you know what I'm saying? Because he was all about the funk. I'm all about the funk, But he was like, he was deeper than me on the funk tip. And he was just like, "Yo, we should get together and let's do some stuff." So Omar Goodness, who put a couple of shows together in LA that I did, Omar Goodness and AC the PD. They put these shows together. It was me, OC, the Brother Load that included Double K and his crew. And, we just kind of, like I said, we was chopping it up. I seen him after that. I seen him in Nottingham. We did a show in Nottingham together. And I was just like, "Yo, what's up, man? It's like, oh shit, you here? Like, how you get here? Like, you know, it's just like it's kind of like bugged. I just saw them somewhere, and then I see him again, and then we just start talking. So then Omar has an idea of putting me and him together to do a project, to do an album, and we was like, yo, we down. So Omar flew me out to LA for a weekend to see what could we bring up to the table. And this time, the group Time Machine had a studio. Piece of J Sonic, Mecca Leg, Kamal, piece of those dudes, and they helped record the album. And the ACDPD. So we were there for like a whole weekend, you know, drinking, getting high, of course. And like one of the songs that didn't make the vinyl, but it's on the Spotify, it's called Box. And I was just like, man, yo, man, I gotta get me some Box, man. And he was like, what the hell's that? I say, you know, some Levin, you know, I call it Box. He was like, Box? Damn, I'm gonna use that one. They said, matter of fact, let's make a song called Box. And then we end up making a song called Box. That's how this stuff was happening. We were just sitting there drinking, getting high, just talking about what you say. Hold on a second. You just said something crazy. Oh, okay. And then, like, you know, and when we was playing samples. It was kind of cool because everything that we had, like even like some of the songs was a one-track song, was a one-track sample, and I mean that was all put together. We were bringing down mad tracks. We were just going off of one-trackers.
Yeah. And
we were like, you know, the Sweet Charles one, we gonna go back and forth. We did that one, then we did. Then another song that didn't make the vinyl was called Sick. It was about what just happened in Virginia Tech, one of the first 5 mass or 3 mass shootings ever that happened in Virginia Tech. And we made a song called Sick, you know, about it. And it was a really deep song, man. And I really felt, I said, damn, man, I had to go back to Connecticut. So, and all this time, and then I couldn't get in touch with him. He wasn't really fluent on the phone. He didn't like picking up the phone. And, you know, I didn't have a relationship with Des like I had with him. As just cuz, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I couldn't. No one can get. Yo, you know, I called people in LA. Yo, you seen what's your name? Tell him to call me. Let's get this project together. All he got to do is just send me some vocals, blah blah blah. But it never panned out. And then when the last time I did see him, it was in Boston, which was a couple years before he passed. He was like, I was like, yo, man, I know it's late, but damn, can we finish? He was like, yeah, we're gonna finish. Then, you know, he passed away. So then once again, I'm sitting on this material and I'm sitting and looking at it in my hard drive, listening to it, going, yo, let me see if Chop Heron want to mess with this. Because I was waiting for like a bigger label to find out if they really wanted to play with it. Yeah. But no one reached out. No one. People mentioned it to me. Yo, what's up with that Double K album? It's right here.
Yeah.
You know, but no one mentioned it to me until, you know, I presented it to Bob, and he was just like, yo, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when Bob took care of me, I made sure that I took care of Double K's wife, and gave her half the money. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
So, you know, I mean, it was only fair. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, but there's, you know, there's some things about it that some other people don't really. I keep hearing that they wasn't feeling the idea that I did that, but you know, if they wanted to be a part of it, they could have been. I've reached out plenty of times but never got no feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, because that's how that is. I'm gonna let your mind wander on that one. But with all due respect, I still am a big People Under the Stairs fan. I love everything. I always wanted to be with that clique. Like that was the perfect clique for me. Them two dudes, me, and whoever else they had floating around. I think maybe John Robinson might have been in that little circle for a second. Lewis Parker, but you know what I'm saying? Like that was the clique that I was just like, yo, this thing develops. These are the dudes I want to be around with because and Giant Panda too.
Giant Panda, yep.
Yeah, Giant Panda too. So like all that LA, like I said, like I lived in LA and right after the riots, and this is where I met Cut Chemist, Charlie Tuna. I remember being at the Good Life rapping like, "Yo, from Connecticut, boo, boo."
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about your Good
Man.
Life, experience, because that,
Good Life.
yeah, because again, that another thing that Ava DuVernay's documentary about the Good Life Cafe and stuff. I was just like, it was something I didn't no idea about, and then I was like, this is amazing,
Yeah. The crazy thing about the Good Life was that thing was like a block. I like I said, I met a nice person named of Joyce, who told me to come out to I met Joyce at the Black Radio Exclusive Convention in New Orleans back in the day. I met her and she told me to come out and see her in LA, stay with her, and she helped me get to where I need to go because she had the connections. So when I moved out there, she was like, "Yo, you need to go to this thing around the corner. They be rapping. It's called The Good Life." And so when I get there, I'm thinking it's gonna be like a block gym or whatever, but it ended up looking like a coffee shop, a health food store.
Yeah.
So in a small plaza. So I go, okay. So I get in there, people rapping and stuff like that. I said, "Oh, this is cool. This is cool." And then I asked them, I said, "Yo, how can I get on the list?" So I get on the list. And as soon as I get on the mic, "What's up, y'all? My name is Dooley-O. I'm from Connecticut." Boo! Boo! This guy. Like they was giving it to me. I was like, I said, all right, watch this. When that bass line came on, that boo, 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 they was like, they was like, "Yo, who are you, man?" Connecticut, bro. And so that's how I started hooking up with a couple of dudes out there. And then when I first saw the Jurassic 5 up there, they were Unity and Community or Committee. And they was rocking, Charlie rapping, like them Freestyle Fellowship, Volume 10, Hip Hop Clan, Medusa, Coco. When I said I saw a different side of hip hop coming from the West Coast, that was like dope. Not like, like the Dre stuff or the Posse on Broadway, Sir Mix a lot of stuff, or the Young MC stuff or Tone Loc. But this stuff was the next level. It was two next level, matter of fact. They were way ahead of their time. All those groups that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Especially Freestyle Fellowship. But the beats that Cut Chemist was making at the time, me and him, I when I walked outside and I seen Charlie too, I said, "Excuse me, man, yo." I told him, I'm Dooley-O. He said, "What's up, Mr. Charlie? Blah, blah, blah." Who did them beats? And he said, "That dude right there." I said, "The white dude with the dreads?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, shit, all right." So I said, "Excuse me, what do you know about Senior Soul?" He was like, "Oh." He looked at me like, "Oh." He said, "Oh, what do you know about King Erickson?" I was like, "Oh, I got that." "Or what do you know about Johnny Hammond or Funk Incorporated or this and that and that?" He said, "I got those." "Oh, what do you know about it?" So we had like this whole, we didn't even introduce ourselves at all. We were just having these conversations like, oh. And then that's when we hooked up. And then he brought me over to the Pasadena Flea Market. And at the Pasadena Flea Market, that's where I met DJ Marv Ski. And we just hit it off for a while, man. We was out shopping for records together. Went over this one dude house that had this big ass afro like this. And he said, "Yo, you guys got this drum?" And it was like the Love drums from the Love record. And I was just like, "Oh, that's crazy." But my whole time in LA was a lifetime experience, man. Like I've experienced so much. Like I really reflect on these things. Like, yo, this was hip hop. You don't know hip hop until you went to some dude's house that had a big afro, and he's fucking playing a drum beat that you've never heard before. That sounds so incredible, and like you thinking like you still today still trying to find this drum beat.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, man, it's deep. Definitely. You know, hip hop is like crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm gonna ask you guys a question though. I have a question to ask you.
Yeah, sure.
See, right here where I'm at in New Haven, Connecticut, like hip hop don't exist. It don't exist like it exists everywhere else. You know, like the names you guys were calling out earlier. Like I should know a lot of these names, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that really true underground system. Like, you know, somebody that doesn't like when I do hip hop events, I don't really see too many rappers who claim they are rappers or whatever, or beat makers coming to these events. But if you go to New York, Atlanta, and other places, blah blah blah, etc., you got a flux of people who will come to an all producer party.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like here, it won't work like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but it just won't. But I guess okay. So I guess my question is like, what is the state of some real hip hop? I'll just leave it on the music. The culture is just in you. So let's leave it on the music. What is the way you guys see it? Is it still something that a lot of people should be still interested in doing, or you know, without worrying about the finances, of course? But I mean, like, is this like, is the underground hip hop doing well for some people?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's tricky because it's something that you have to navigate and you have to temper expectations because you don't know. Now I got to back up. With the internet, with social media, there are little pockets and subgenres and lanes for artists. And we'll take you in particular. You have such history that you're able to like fit in a certain lane because, you know, you started way back when. You know, you started in the early days. You had a record that you produced in 1990, you know, projects like that. So that gets you open. That opens the doors to the chopped herrings and those kinds of situations because
right.
And chopped herring isn't the only one. There are these labels, these boutique labels that look for stuff like that.
Well, tell them to call me.
Yeah, right, sure.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, and I know here in Pittsburgh the scene is weird, but I know guys that do like they have beat battles, you know, where producers show up and they'll bring their beats and they kind of do that stuff. I know dudes that are like shout out to Moma Maydon who Nadon, I'm like totally messed up his name. Shout out to Moma. Moma makes beats, he DJs, he rhymes, he does all that shit. But he's a total independent force himself. He's putting out his own stuff. You know, he's putting out tapes, that kind of stuff. And you'll have pockets of that all across the country. So I think if you can figure out how to make it work for you, it's definitely in a good place. I'm still hearing amazing music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a beat battle happening, Ultra, this weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, May 6th.
Wow.
And it's
Static Selector.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
E.G. Moby versus Buck Wild. It's crazy.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In North Carolina. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who would've
It's
knew?
crazy.
I guess like you said, it's just finding your wave in your pocket bit to fall into. Like, I'd be amazed sometimes. Like, damn, I've done a lot of stuff. Like, my phone ain't really ringing for too much of like any shows or anything like that. Like, not like before. But I'm still putting out work. Like, I put out 3 projects. I got another record coming out. Matter of fact, did you guys hear the new 45 yet?
No.
I played
I
it
have
on the
not.
show. Played it on the show.
There you go.
They
Flatline
sent
got
me
it.
the drop.
It's snafu, definitely. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
yep.
sir.
food. That's why I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
that stick yourself, and I did a video for Death Blow, and it's definitely big up to Nobody Buys Records.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and I'm gonna be continue working with them some more, because they really love what I did, what we did together.
Mhm.
Like, we did together. It really came out really good. I was really proud of that 45.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's dope, man. So
I think there's a lot of underground people, but I think that they all kind of stick together. Because like R.A., the Rugged Man, showed up to Raleigh with Onyx and brought up Yag Fu Front, and so but everybody kind of underground sticks together.
you know what, Jen and RA, shout out to RA, because I've been watching his I've been watching his posts and stuff as he's touring. He's bringing up dudes in every city he goes to.
He is.
Yeah.
But he's good for that, because he's always looking out for
because
his
he's a fan. Yeah, he's a fan, man.
Super fan.
And see, just to say that, right? Already, the Rugged Man is he just came. He just left my city. I end up missing this show because either I had a DJ or something. But it's just like one of them things. Like, here in Connecticut, it's just like, okay, honestly, already the Rugged Man's there. How come nobody asked me to do the show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the reason. This is one of the reasons why DooleyO knows that my base of people at this point, I believe, was in Boston. Is in Boston, LA, and cross seas.
Yeah.
It may be spotty a little bit here and there, but nothing really heavy. But I know Boston always had me up there showing love. Either it was rapping or DJing. LA always showed me love. And cross seas was always a thing. So I always focused on making music for those 3 things right there. Like, the way I do it. Okay, well, if they like the way I'm doing it, that's how it is. Right. If nobody around here likes what I do, that's fine.
Yeah.
But they always seen me going somewhere. Like, yo, damn, Dooley, how you? I said, because I stick to what I do. You trying to do what the radio station do.
Yep.
They don't play Dooley records, so why would I?
You're not alone in that, though. You're not alone in that, because I can point to group after group after group after group that say overseas we're huge. Here, nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that nobody cares. It's just that it's not. It's the small pockets of people. It's the heads like us, the nerds like us. Unless
you're Drake or Kanye or nobody.
Like, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like 5 people I can talk to that live around me that would know what I'm talking about.
Hey,
might be 5.
With Princess Superstar overseas, we were the Beatles. Came back to New York City, we got booed. She's from New York City, so I felt that. I know what it is.
Yeah.
People are more attentive and they don't get caught up in all the stuff that Americans do with, you got to be down with this or that. Is the music good?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just want to.
Well, yeah, and overseas, they're they're massively more respectful
Yeah.
of artists
Mhm.
than we are.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they respect the arts. Absolutely.
They're in our backyard. We don't. We whatever, you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
in overseas, the best story I ever heard was Rodney O and Joe Cooley, who were from LA. They went overseas, and Joe Cooley said some kid came up and asked him for his shoes and asked him to sign them. He gave them to him. He was like,
Wow.
this is the weirdest thing ever, but okay. The kid knew who he was, so he was like, all right, whatever. But it was, you know, no kid here would ask Joe Cooley for his shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working with the B-Boys right now. We're trying to get their first album out, you know, and get it finished up. And you know, and so they're the B-Boys, but it's also Donald D and Rhyme Syndicate. It's like, and they keep asking me, they're like, how can we get gigs? I'm like, that sucks that you guys are having trouble getting gigs because you guys are, you know, legends. But there's got to be, it's something that Chuck and I talk about trying to work out some kind of a way to get a network together so that artists such as yourself, Dooley, you know, artists that we can come up with some kind of tour, showcase, something so that you guys can get on the road and get some work in.
I mean, it's always got to be, like I always say, it's always got to be a united front. I mean,
yeah.
You know, waving the hip hop flag where it's not waved at. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like if I stop doing hip hop, like I was talking to Edon one day, and I was like, man, I'm tired, man. I'm getting tired of doing all this stuff in Connecticut, and like people are responding, people not responding. Sometimes great, and sometimes it's a lot not great. Like, yo, I'm getting tired, man. I'm getting tired of doing this. And he said, yo, Dooley, if you stop doing that, who else is gonna do it?
Right.
Shit. I said, damn, you're right, man. Because it doesn't look like nobody is going, you know, carry the flag for hip hop.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, so caught up on the radio and whatever that's going on with that. But yeah, you know. But yeah. So yeah, that was just my question. I just wanted to know because I know, like, outside of where my region is, I know that people still love and listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like I said, man, they're out there, you know. We're always trying to make these inroads and find people, and it's really tough. You know, I'm running Chuck D's label, and we don't have marketing money. It's a grassroots thing. We're trying to find fans, one people at a time, you know, one person at a time. But we do that kind of music. And because we do that, the people that hear the stuff that we put out trust us now. They're like, okay, I know you guys are going to put out some decent shit. So, you know, that's, at least we have that. So, yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I got to ask about GTV.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Gotta ask about GTV.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the story of GTV. Well, GTV, we were watching Videograph 1, and my boy Vinny was like, yo, I think you can do something equivalent to this or better. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, you do graffiti, right? I was like, yeah. It's like, why don't you fucking go out and videotape yourself and make your own TV show? And I said, oh, that kind of makes sense. So I went down to the public access channel. It was these two guys, so I pitched them the idea of GTV. These two guys had this thing called Underground News, and all they did was walk up to people and say, yo, this Underground News, what's your name? Tell everybody where you from. That was the whole show. Yo, this Sarah, I'm from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Word, peace. Yo, this Underground News, what's your name? yo, this so and so. That was the whole show. I said, yo, can we switch this up a little bit and do this hip hop, this and that? Because I always liked the way how Wild Style and Star Wars was documented.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really into like being no videographer or nothing like that, or film guy. So they was like, yo, if you want to do your own show, man, you got to go down to the station and take the classes. So I went to the station. I took the class, and one of the guys, Justice, he helped me edit the first TV show. So like GTV was on the Access channel for 10 shows before it became on a tape. And so once I figured I had enough material, we made a 1-hour tape, and that 1-hour tape hit. I sold like maybe 150 tapes. I was like, oh, shit, at $10 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So then I came out with Graffiti TV number 2. I went to New York. I hooked up with Crazy Kings magazine. Mitch was now I think he's a police. He probably retired now, police officer. But Mitch had a graffiti magazine called Crazy Kings.
Yeah.
And he saw my tape and he was like, yo, you want to advertise in my magazine? And once I advertised in his magazine, that's when it really started bubbling. And so I hung out with Mitch. Mitch introduced me to Cope. Then Cope introduced me to the whole South Bronx.
Wow.
And so that's how I was able to get in touch with a lot of graffiti writers from the Bronx. I really didn't get a chance to get anything from Queens and Brooklyn, only a tiny bit. I mean, I have some like a lot of tape of some spots in Brooklyn with some people talking, but never came out, which I'll be, hopefully soon trying to finish my thought pattern of making this YouTube channel until it could work for me. I ended up doing GTV like that. And then when Videograph did their Video Core or Video Graph Core, and then somehow they've kind of faded out for personal reasons. That's when it was time for me to shine. So that's how I busted tapes out because there was no other videos out there right now. So I want to say big up to Carl Weston from Videograph because he showed me about digital editing and how to work the camera. Like he could have just been like, nah, you competition. I ain't messing with you. Yeah. He could have called me out, you know what I'm saying? But he was grateful enough, and I appreciate that about that guy, that he was grateful enough to show me the ropes and let me run with it. You know what I'm saying? Because basically the master was giving me his style. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was having his style and my style together. You know what I'm saying? Because his style was all graffiti. My style was like, yo, we're going to do this thing called a B segment. We're going to videotape lowriders. We're going to videotape some crazy people in the ghetto. We're going to videotape this. We're going to videotape that. But it'll still be graffiti TV, like a TV broadcasting channel.
Right.
Instead of just graph. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm into all of that, you know? And so we did the beat segment. And the beat segments that we did that's on those tapes are from the original TV shows. Which I do have a beat segment, like almost like a documentary that I'm trying to work on right now because I still had a lot of footage that never made it to the TV and never made it to the videotapes.
That's dope, yeah.
Yeah, from the early 90s. I'm sure a lot of people, I just been talking to a friend of mine about it, see if he wanted to invest in it and see how if we can do it the right way. Because I want to do it the right way. I just don't want to play around with this shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I want it to look good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's fantastic. I also, as a filmmaker, got my start at public access television. So when I read that you were doing that, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then the strange thing that happened to GTV, I had a guy who came from Canada. I forgot his name's Mark something. He actually wanted me. He just wanted to buy into GTV and give me that major distribution that I need worldwide. But come to find out, he was a scam artist. So the dude wrote up this contract. Listen to me, because everybody want to know, because everybody hear that I sold GTV. I didn't sell GTV. He wrote up this contract, and in the contract it says that I'm titled exclusively to him. He could put out GTV for 5 years. So when my Mario Winkler, KRS One lawyer, looked at it, he said, nah, that ain't good. This is wrong. Have him rewrite the contract. So he rewrote the contract, gave it to us. The lawyer approved it. I signed the contract. This dude disappears, right? He comes back at the last year of the contract and says, yo, Dooley, what's up? This Mark, I'm going to put the GTV out. I was like, what do you mean? You ain't putting nothing out. Oh, I have a contract saying that I can't put it out. So he bootlegged GTV, changed some of the music on it because he couldn't clear the samples or whatever the situation may be. But he ended up putting out the best of at number 4.
Jesus.
Right? So now sitting like a sitting duck, like, okay. So I hit him up back after, when I saw him press that, I said, yo, man, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, where's my money? Oh, there's no money for you right now. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, look at the contract. Yeah, the contract, huh? Yeah. Where's the contract, Dooley? But what he did do, he sent back the contract, and I read the contract. He sent back the contract, and what he did, he took the signature on the last page and restapled it to the old contract.
Wow.
Another stab.
God damn, man.
So you can see why I keep doing what I do for the love of hip hop and the culture. Because I'm sure there's worse stories than some of my stories. I don't think some of my stories are worse stories. I think they're just learning situations in my life. And maybe it wasn't meant for me to have this big glow, or I might have killed myself because I have that glow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy to be able to be at the age I'm at right now, to still make a rap record, to still DJ, to still be known when people see me. They be like, oh, that dude's a legend right there. Yeah, I don't toot my own horn like I'm a humble person, but it feels good to get a pat on the back. When you're not feeling right, and somebody goes, are you crazy? Like, even at my day job, they're like, yo, why are you here? Why are you here? I'm like, yo, my kids gotta eat, man. They don't cut legends checks, you know what I'm saying? They cut the guy two years after the legend. They could give him the check. They don't give him to the legends.
Yeah, man. Well, we're so glad that you're still making records, man.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah.
And keep making records. Flatline, at Hip Hop Gods, he'll keep playing them. And,
thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
And anytime you want to promote anything, just let us know. You're welcome back.
I sure will, man. Next time I'm looking to. Right now, I have 2 songs with Steezo that's never been out. I got one that I got to work on. That he did a song when he was in North Carolina, and he left the space out for me. He told me to do it, but he passed away. So I got like maybe 3 or 4 songs with Steezo. I got some old some demo tape sounding stuff that could be used for something. Could be put out on cassette or something like that. A lot of little things I got floating around here. I got, video stacks of they all fall on the ground like stacks of cassettes and cassettes, stacks of floppies.
Oh my gosh. Damn.
Somebody give me 25 million and take this out of here. Some shit.
Man.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's cool, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I had a blast, man. I had a good laugh tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing those stories, dude. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Wow.
Yeah, let me take my shirt off. I'm getting a little too comfortable.
So it is over.
It's not over.
Muslim at the time. Oh my god.
It's not over. It's over, isn't it? That's so great. That's so great. Dooley, thank you so much for being here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, DooleyO. Check out his Bandcamp page. Go support the man if you dig his music, please.
Also buy some art.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Dooley. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, man.
All right. There we go. Fantastic stuff. God damn, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yo, you
The first one of you boneheads that starts taking your shirt off because you're getting too comfortable, I'm out. I'm out. I am so out. Do not take that as a, hey, that sounds like a good idea.
No, because we're not smoking that dust yet.
Right.
Yet.
That's the key ingredient that we're missing. Yeah. So what did you miss? You got to go back and watch.
And Dooley's still backstage cracking up.
Yo, man, that was one of the funniest shows in a while.
Oh,
yeah, it was great.
Yeah. So, and tonight's hilarious episode of It's C-Doc Again was brought to you by the Spit Slam Record Label Group. The Spit Slam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound. And you can also catch Flatline and myself.
Flatline's taking his shirt off, I guess. I don't know what happened.
No, I'm not.
Probably grabbing something. But you can catch us every Friday night on the And You Don't Stop show, radio show hosted by Mr. Chuck D. Flatline has this Hip Hop God segment, and I have the Spit Slam Jam of the Week. And this week's Spit Slam Jam of the Week is by Mr. Chuck himself, Chuck D, the Get It Right remix that you can listen to on his new album, We Wreck Stadiums. Also check out Ultramag's podcast, his other home, People's Distinctive Travels. Lots of great interviews there to check out.
we're almost there.
Stop.
No. I listened to the latest episode on preview. It's very good. You're going to love this one, Doc. I'm telling you.
Can't wait, man.
I'm telling you. It's worth the wait.
All right. Can't wait. So, yes. So, check that stuff out. Or check out his podcast. When am I forgetting? Sundays. Sunday nights. Join Ultramag and Jennifer O'Jenny right here and on Twitch for the mixtape with DJ Soulbuck.
Yep.
And this upcoming week will be the preview for next week's guest. And who is next week's guest, Jennifer?
The one and only Mr. Len.
The one and only Mr. Len. Yeah. Co-flow in the place to be. So yes, join us. Join Ultramag and Jennifer Sunday for the music of Mr. Len, and join us next week as we get to talk to him. Really looking forward to that one. I want to thank my co-hosts, Flatline, Jennifer, and Ultramag for being here tonight. Everybody watching live with us, everybody watching on the replay, if you like the show, please like and subscribe. And comment if you want. We like comments.
Yes.
Exactly. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we will see everyone next week on another episode of It's C-Doc again.
Flatline, don't pull nothing out.
I
got them too.
I just want some points.
You got that though?
Damn it!
Oh shit!
You got Ugly Duckling? Uncle Sam?
This is not
yo,
fair.
stop.
I better roll the credits before it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
do it.